Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Tied Up in Knots. I'm your host, Tim Cyber Buddha Andrews. And this is a podcast that we're doing with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Today is a good friend of mine, known this guy for a long, long time, even though you'd have to torture him for hours and he still wouldn't admit to that. But this is Chuck Kastor. How you doing, Chuck?
Doing great, Tim. Good to see you.
Good, buddy. Good to see you. Chuck actually walked across the United States backwards on his hands and set the Guinness Book of World Records. I think he did it in like no, just kidding. Not that extraordinary, but he does do some pretty extraordinary things. Chuck and I, we know each other back in the day when he was here in Ohio. His son and my son played basketball together at Buckeye High School. And I got to tell you, Chuck, everybody says they have a favorite kid. I have 4 of my own. Whenever they ask me to this day who my favorite kid is, I always tell them Brett Kastor, my friend's son. He's a good man. You're still proud of him, aren't you? I didn't miss anything, did I?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm sitting in his study right now. This is, or whatever this is, a library. This is his house.
I didn't know he was out there with you. I'll tell you what a stand-up guy that Chuck is. We used to have to work a concession stand. We got roped into that for like girls' games and all that kind of stuff for the Booster Club because our kids played to kind of support that. So, they're making a few cents here on hot dogs and Pepsis and things like that. And I told Chuck, I said, man, you know what we ought to do to really, really beef this thing up and make some money? We need to sell individually wrapped cigarettes and airline booze, those little tiny bottles. And Chuck, to your credit, man, you talked me out of it, even though I still think it made a lot more sense financially, right?
It would have been better than having a school levy passed, for sure. We could have made a lot more money for the schools, and it would have been an appropriate way to do it.
Hey, that's why we should have been board president, man. We should have done it. So,
Dude,
how long have you been? How long?
They didn't like me there at all, man. We used to take the kids out of school to go on cruises, scuba dive, and they hated it.
The referees couldn't stand me. Yeah, I had a good time with those referees.
You know what's crazy? I have a brand new client, and guess he lived in. We have people all over the world as clients,
right.
And I have a client that just came on 2 weeks ago. He lives in Brunswick. His kids went to Buckeye.
Wow.
We had a conversation about that stupid deer head that's in the cafeteria. Like, is that thing still there? I remember when I moved to Valley City, I'm like, there's a deer head in the cafeteria. Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Anyway.
That's hilarious. I thought I saw a deer in my yard this morning, but it was just a cow. That's pretty much our wildlife here in Valley City. Cattle that get out of the stockades, or I guess they call them stockades in Texas, but through the wires or fences or whatever here. But how long have you been out in San Antonio now, Chuck? How many years has it been?
We've been in Texas for about 3.5 years now. Can you believe it? 3.5.
Wow. Coincidentally, isn't that when they made male prostitution legal out there about 3.5 years ago?
You would know. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it may be legal, but there's still not.
I don't track that kind of stuff.
It may be legal, but they're still not cheap. I can tell you that. But in reality, Chuck and I are both fascinated with fitness and eating right and taking care of your bodies. Chuck is promoting it and helping people every day. And I definitely watch. I watch people. I love watching people get fit. And, even at the restaurants, when people get like a salad or, a dinner salad or a chef salad or whatever, I mean, I'm fascinated. It's like a dunk contest, Chuck. I love it. They're so talented. They do a great job, but I can't do it. I'm weak.
You can't do it.
Weak-willed and weak physically, but I know you can help me with that. I know we talked about, I have some before pictures that I took for Chuck because I was going to get involved in that program. And I always wanted to get involved in some kind of program. Do the before picture. I took off my shirt. I'm freaking morbidly obese. I'm gigantic. And I thought, and then I'll take the after picture. And, in between the before and after picture, I gained 25 pounds. But anyhow, I'm still into that. I think with the AI, I think we can do it, Chuck. I think we can get
AI for you. The good thing about you is you a rat's ass what anybody thinks of you, and that's the best part about you.
I may be fat, but I'm happy. Isn't that what every fat person says?
Yeah. It's a bullshit excuse.
It's all bullshit. We all know that, right? So I watch. Do you do a podcast, Chuck, as well? Or tell everybody a little bit about what you do, because it is very important. All kidding aside, which that's very difficult for me. But you do have a program that helps. What is it? Fat dads over 50, over 60. What is it? I mean, let's be blunt.
It's called Fit Dad Syndicate.
Yeah. Okay.
What we do specifically, it's a ministry, and we help men over 50 to become fitness patriarchs for their families, and not just financial patriarchs. And as men, we all understand our roles to provide finances for our family. But before you knew me, I was a fat ass back in my 40s. You didn't know that. I was just like you.
Yeah?
I was a fat ass just like you back in my 40s. And I didn't do a very good job of being a fitness patriarch. So I now help men do what I fixed later in life. I'm 62 now. So actually in the best shape of my life. I'm in better shape now than I was back in my 20s. And so that's what we do as a ministry. We take guys that are 50 and older. I got clients all the way to 85. And we help them to actually fix what they've got as situations. And we do it through a lot of the principles that God designed into our bodies, as far as what people don't seem to understand. And so we teach them the science behind it that God designed into our bodies. They live in something we call an 8 to 10 mood meter on the way down to their goal, which dictates sustainability. And they got to be able to tell us at the end of their program, they could do it till they're 100, or we don't release them from the program. So what's your excuse?
I've got a lot of them, Chuck. I'm full of excuses. Not only full of shit, but full of excuses too. But yeah, no, I remember we were both a little overweight. It was tough, and that's even before we were hosting the hot yoga and Pilates and teaching those classes. So, but yeah, no, I mean, you look great, man. You're beautiful. You're a beautiful man. Look at me. Look at this. This is a complete polar opposite. This guy's 62. I'm 62. I know people are going, is that his grandpa? No, he's my friend. Okay, we're the same age. But no, you're doing good things, bro. How long, as far as the classes and the courses and things like that, if somebody wanted to hook up with you, like me, if I had any sense, or maybe I'll hit my head and finally say, what the hell are you doing, Tim? You got a grandson. He's 1.5 years old. If you want to watch him grow up, you'll get your act together and see what's going on here. So for somebody like me that wants to get in and get started, what's the best way to do it? I know you have some different avenues that people can go through. How's that work?
Well, here's the sad thing. Most people think it's really hard to do, and it's really not that difficult to do, which is why we don't really give a rat's ass about weight loss. We're not a weight loss company. We're not a fitness company. We are, we're equipping men to actually understand how to do this. So there's something called CharlesCastorFitness.com, which is pretty much, you can kind of go in and see what we do. There's a place there to actually take a look and see if you have an interest. CharlesCastorFitness.com. And really, the whole essence of what I do is I have an initial conversation with people, which, in my opinion, is an important initial conversation for them to realize some of the crappy questions they're asking themselves about why they think they have a fitness issue or why they think they're fat, and then what some of the good questions are that they should be asking that nobody seems to understand. And some of the questions I get from people would be, what's my meal plan going to be? Or what do you think of macronutrient splits? Or should I go low carb? Should I go high protein? What do you think, Chuck, of keto versus carnivore versus paleo? versus Atkins versus the Whole30 diet? Or what do you think of compound body weight movements in the gym, Chuck? You think I should, try kettlebells? Or what do you think of cardio versus HIIT training versus running versus walking versus cold plunges? I mean, I get all of these questions.
Right.
Back in my 40s, those were all of the questions I was asking when I was a fat ass for 13 years, not fixing the problem. The whole world asked those questions. And this is what people have in their head that they think they have to do to get fit. And it's just a bunch of bullshit. All right. So, with that being said, what are some of the good questions somebody should ask? All right. And I got to tell you, none of my current clients asked me any of these questions before they became a client. And personally, I think a few of them maybe should have asked, because I've got a lot of physicians and doctors as clients. I have professional athletes. We have people that have owned fitness facilities for the last 3 to 4 decades as clients. We even have a couple of certified nutritionists that have master's degrees. None of those people ask me any of these questions that I think are really key questions that you need to understand. Question 1 would be, how do I bring insulin to baseline every single day? Have you ever heard that question?
Yeah.
You've never heard that question. You're so full of shit. That question right there is massively important for 2 reasons. Number 1, your body will not release fat until insulin is at baseline, number 1. And number 2, insulin controls so many different biomarkers in your body, Tim, as you get into your 50s, 60s, and beyond, that if you don't get a control on the insulin, eventually the insulin gets a control on you, and your process is going to be worse than just the fat gain you're dealing with. There's a lot of other metabolic issues that come from having problems with that. So there's 2 things we do to help with good question number 1. Number 1, we help our clients through the protocols we teach them to bring insulin to baseline, number 1. And number 2, we do a lot of education in the realm of insulin, because it's such a foundational wisdom of how God actually designed your body to operate that nobody seems to understand, nor do they teach it anymore. So we teach that aspect of it. That's first good question. Good question number 2 is, okay, I don't know why it does that. That's something with my program.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I did that for you. Did you like that? It had nothing to do with LGBTQ.
I don't even have to take.
I don't know what that was all about, but anyway. With that being said, good question number 2. What do you think you have to lose, Tim? How much weight you got to lose about?
Oh, probably 1 Chuck Kastor and 1.
Let's just say 50 pounds you got to lose. So the question should be, all right, Chuck, so how do I drop these 50 pounds and not be a miserable SOB while I'm doing it? That's a really good question. Okay, because this is the question that prevents everybody from doing something. All right. Everybody in the world thinks they have to violate their lifestyle, not eat the foods they like. They can't eat pizza anymore. They can't drink alcohol. It's a bunch of BS. Okay, you can do all those things. And so basically we teach our clients utilizing a mood meter, MOOD, a mood meter, that they're going to stay in an 8 to 10 mood meter on the way down to their goal, losing 1.5 to 2 pounds a week. All right. What is a 10 on a mood meter? A 10 on a mood meter means I love this program. I'm losing 1.5 to 2 pounds a week, and I'm not miserable. I'm eating a lot of foods I still enjoy. My lifestyle is not completely interrupted. I'm still doing karaoke with Chuck at a bar, eating wings, and I'm losing 1.5 to 2 pounds a week. People don't understand that they can do that, so they never even start. All right. And it's sad because they don't understand it. So we have a mood meter to dictate sustainability on the way down to their goal. All right. Good question number 3. How do I keep my 62-year-old muscle while I'm stripping the body fat? And if you don't tell your body to keep the muscle on the way down to your goal, your body will take muscle and fat the way it wants to. It's called weight loss. You don't want weight loss. You want fat loss. Literally, I got a couple guys in this program. They're in their mid-80s. And my 85-year-old clients care a ton about their 85-year-old muscle. They don't want to lose any of that precious muscle on the way down to their goal. So those 3 questions we cover thoroughly, and we explain them to people, and we teach people that this is not what you think it is from a fitness standpoint of what you were taught in school, the pyramid, the food pyramid. Remember that thing? It's actually upside down. It should be. And people don't understand these things, so they never even start the journey. They think they have to be miserable. I drink. I don't abuse it, but I drink. I eat what I like. I have a sweet tooth. I like pizza, and I'm as fit as I've ever been. And people don't know that they can do those things, just like you don't know that, or you would have done it already. So
Why wanted you to know? I have
you're a
100.
perfect example of the country and the world. What the frick you don't know, and so you never started, or you would have done it a long time ago.
Well, I have 100-year-old muscle. I guess that's probably not good for a 62-year-old man, right?
I guess so, man.
One thing that I did, I know you probably didn't think I ever listened to any of your lives on Facebook, and I was just there to bust your balls. But I do remember one thing that kind of really stuck with me, and that is people are so obsessed with working out when you have to work out how long just to burn how many calories. And if you're just a little bit more diligent on what you eat, and if you eat a little bit more one day and then you cut back and and you look at your calorie intake for the next day, that's probably a better plan than going over there and trying to ride a bike or these people wear these fitness watches and everything and go, damn, I burned 1,000 calories today or whatever. They're killing themselves all day because they had a donut the day before, right? Talk about that for a minute.
That's a good point. You were listening, actually. I'm impressed. So, what you're talking about is something called energy balance, which most people have never heard of energy balance. It's also scientifically called your TDEE, or your total daily energy expenditure, which nobody understands. And a good example is, how many calories do you think you burn running a 5K race? About 3.1 miles.
Not a clue. Couple hundred, 500, 600?
300.
Wow.
And most people guess 500,000, whatever. It's 300 calories, not even a half a slice of pizza to go run a 5K race. How many calories are there in a chocolate glazed Krispy Kreme donut?
Now that I should know.
I know.
I should know how many calories there are in a dozen of them. I'm going to guess 1,000.
Okay, it's 480.
Wow.
All right. So here's the problem. Here's the equation. Chuck has a sweet tooth, but Chuck hates to run. You will never see me run anywhere unless a bear is chasing me. I hate to run, but I would eat the donut. All right. So Chuck gets up in fantasy land and he goes to run a 5K race on a Saturday morning. He gets to the track an hour early, and his buddies bring a dozen Krispy Kreme. Tim Andrews brings a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts to the track as you're going to sit in the stands and watch me run the 5K. So we look down to the donut. Chuck looks at the donuts and he rationalizes and he says, you know what? Today's a good day to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to eat the donut. I'm going to kill my sweet tooth, and I'm going to run the 5K, and I'm going to earn the donut. And at the end of the day, I'm a good place. At least I earned the donut. Okay. But really what happened was I ate the donut. 480 calories came into me. I ran the 5K. 300 calories left me, and I'm sitting on a 180 calorie energy imbalance. And,
wow.
And so that is a problem. Okay. And this is what people don't understand about calories and what's happening in their bodies from an energy balance standpoint. All right. And energy balance is also called your TDEE, or your total daily energy expenditure. And we calculate this number using the Katz-McCardle formula for all of our clients. And we come up with what their number is. And then what we do is we keep them below that number, but we keep them in an 8 to 10 mood meter while they're below the number. That's quite the caveat. Most people just tell you they don't even know the number because they never heard of a total daily energy expenditure. I don't know how anybody knows if they're in a calorie deficit if they don't know what that is. And if you Google Katz-McCardle formula, that's Katz with a K, you can see all the parameters that go into it. All right. So we calculate this for every client, then we keep them below that number, but they're in an 8 to 10 mood meter that they dictate while they're dropping 1.5 to 2 pounds a week. And so a lot easier than what most people think it is. And we have a mood meter so people can understand, what do you mean by sustainability, Chuck? That's what I mean. You're going to dictate your mood meter, which means I'm eating foods I like. I'm not raiding the pantry at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not miserable. I still can have beer once in a while. I can do what I'm doing. And I'm actually losing body fat while I'm doing that. And nobody seems to understand, for whatever reason, that those are all things you can do. So that's what we teach people.
It's as easy as that.
What's your excuse now? Now that you know, here's how God works. God winks at you when you're ignorant, okay? And you're ignorant in this area. I'm ignorant about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I have ignorance in. But once you learn something, and you learn something today, he looks at it differently. He's going to hold you accountable now for what you do or you don't do because you have a little bit of knowledge here to know that it's not a hard process. So now what's your excuse, Tim?
Well, that's tough. I thought when he was winking, he was like, "Come on, man, I forgive you. Come on in.
Yeah, he
Come
winks,
on
he
in."
winks when you're ignorant. He winks when you're ignorant. And I had a lot of winking because I was ignorant about a lot of shit, man. Trust me. I love when I'm ignorant and he's not holding me accountable. But when you start understanding things, it's a little different.
Yeah, man, I agree. I got to tell you, the sad thing is, this is my second podcast that we have done. I'm really glad that you came on board, and I have a good, legit guest. The bad thing is, there's probably a 2% chance that this thing's going to turn out. But even if it doesn't, I want to touch base with you again and talk with you. Or
2% chance of what's going to happen? The podcast is going to record, or what do you mean? Or you're going to actually...
if it records, I'm technologically challenged to say the least. But man, what a waste of a good podcast with a good guest if that happens. Thank goodness I got my young producer helping me out. Hopefully he could pull it out of the ashes and we can get this going. But I will say this. You can bet your ass, Chuck, that probably 90% of the people that watch this podcast are going to watch it because they look at me and say, man, I don't feel so bad about being 120 to 150 pounds overweight. Look at that dude. He's got me beat by a mile. This is his target weight. And you know what? They're right. But they need to get with the program and, get down, get fit, do the right things, and do it the right way. And it sounds to me, I hate to admit this, I hate to give you the credit you deserve, Chuck. You know me. That's just how I am. But you're doing some good things, brother. Doing some good things.
I'm trying to make up for all the bad shit I did in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I don't want to meet my maker someday and be too early. That's why I wanted to actually. Because we all died too damn early. I don't want to explain to him why I never figured out the body he gave me. I didn't want to have that conversation. But what I'm trying to do is, fix all of the problems that I've created in my life, which is a lot of them, a lot of bad shit. And I'm trying to do it the right thing by helping people with this category. And, my son is really to be credited with why I'm even doing this. He wanted to be a fitness guy. And I told him, hell no, you're not going to be a fitness guy. There's no way you're doing that. Because there's no money in it. Like, what are you going to have, like a movie star client or whatever? And boy, was I wrong. And he didn't get any of this. He got it all from Kathy, his mother. His mother was really smart from a standpoint holistically. She had some problems. So my son actually learned from my wife, not his fat ass dad at the time. I mean, I had a boat and my shirt was on. When I was on the boat, I wouldn't even take my damn shirt off on the boat. So I was just like you back then.
Oh, man. I don't care. I have no pride. I have no shame. I'll take my shirt off right in the middle of a mall. I don't
do it right now. Come on. If this podcast is worth it.
All right. No. I've got too many wires on. It's the cool. I don't want to ruin the cool look, But yeah, I got some pictures. I'll show them to you sometime. I'm gonna have Sean, if you don't mind. He'll put your information, your website, and all that down. And folks can look that up. But for anybody out there that's looking to do it the right way with a good dude, and you can't find the good dude, I suggest you call Chuck. No, just kidding, Chuck. I love you, man.
Things that can help people. Seriously, CharlesCastorFitness.com. But if somebody wanted to get into a private Facebook group, they got to answer 3 questions. But Christian dads losing their fat and regaining their life is a free group I have where I do a lot of training in there for people because, I want people to understand some of this information and they can kind of learn. You can actually grab some information in there and fix your problem for free. So, I mean, if you wanted access to that, if you don't fill out the questions, I'm not going to approve you to be in it because it's a private group. I don't want just the whole world in there. But if you're serious and you would have an interest to learn some of these things, a lot of these things we've talked about, I do a lot deeper dive in that Facebook group to try to help people understand exactly how God did design your body and that it's not that hard to do. And that whatever you're thinking you have to do is probably 10 times worse than it's actually going to be to do it. So most people don't even start. And that is the number one lie that I hear from people. I know what to do. I just need to do it. I need more discipline. I need more accountability. It's a lie. The person that says that has no clue what to do. They really don't. And truly, it's 10 times worse in their head than it's really going to be to do it. So they never start the journey, and it's sad. So I think that Facebook group could help a lot of people. And that's a free Facebook group. So it's Christian Dads. I think it's called Losing Fat and Regaining Their Life or something like that. I don't
You
know.
think?
Trying to help people with that group, right?
Hey, we'll put anything down there, and hopefully it'll direct. We'll get you hooked up, buddy. Hey, I can't believe that somebody that used to knock over liquor stores or run crack dens is doing so much good today, Chuck. Now that's a joke, everybody.
See, anything can happen. It's
That's
possible. But he used to wink at me back then because I didn't know better. But now he doesn't. I can't do that anymore. I can't rob people. I can't do drugs like I used to. I can't sell drugs like I can't do that stuff anymore.
well, and I know that I'm still winking at you today, Chuck. I've always winked at you. You know how much I love you.
I love you too, brother. I love
You tell your
you and Kathy and I. Do you remember? Hey, by the way, Sean, are you aware of Tim's voice? He's got a beautiful voice, man. I'm not kidding. He is an amazing. I swear to God, I'm not kidding on this one. His voice is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Can you sing something for us?
well, I really shouldn't. It's this microphone. It really muffles my voice. But I could do the I know I could do a quick little something appropriate for where you live. How about this one? But that train kept a rolling on down to San Antone. How's that?
That's beautiful, man. I love it. That's perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah, you got Chuck. This guy's an influencer, man. Him and his wife took me to. He and his wife took me to a restaurant up in Cleveland. What was that place called? Mimocho or something?
Best
Mex-
margarita ever there. Mimosa
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you guys took me up there, never been, and I wrote a couple of songs, and you guys had me sing one at the table. That was pretty awesome, and they reacted very positively, which I thought maybe I was going to feel a cane around my neck pulling me out of there, and a couple cops to handcuff me at the door. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and yeah, my producer for this podcast, he produces bands and things too, so that's a good deal. Yeah.
very
So
cool. Sean, do you know who Al Di Meola is, Sean? You might be too young to know who Al Di Meola is. Okay, you know who Eric Clapton is, right? Okay, Eric Clapton, he thinks Al Di Meola is his hero. He's one of my clients, by the way. Al Di Meola is. I mean, he's doing a European tour right now, but he's one of the best guitarists.
wow.
Anybody's a guitarist knows who Al Di Meola is. So look him up, man. You will love him. He's an amazing guitarist. So anyway, we have
Hey, Chuck.
musicians. We got all kind. We have some of the biggest people that run soundboards for the biggest bands in our program because they
Wow.
travel 300 days a year and they don't think they can do this, and they all have great success. So anybody can do this. You don't have to be like sitting at home making your own food, weighing food. That is all a bunch of BS. You can be as fit as you can be forever. So Tim, you will be held accountable for this after this
Okay.
podcast. Maybe that's why God had me on the show to let you know. Now he's not going to wink at you anymore. So I just want you to know. All right, you're done.
He's gonna cuff me upside the head, right? This is it. Now
He
you
is.
know. Wow. Chuck, I love you.
I love you too, bro.
And I love you more, man. And you give your beautiful wife a hug and a kiss for me and tell her I said hello. And I really miss you guys. Everybody out there that's watching the podcast, like I said before, we like to talk to ordinary people that do extraordinary things, which Chuck is doing. He's helping change people's lives. If you guys have a story to tell and want to get involved, shoot us a message and comment right below. Let us know what's going on and subscribe to the podcast. We'd love to have you on. Like we say, Chuck, anybody can talk to famous people and actors and musicians and things like that, man. But some of the most ordinary people have the most interesting stories and do some crazy things. A lot of people that I know, you included, I think could uh, give all those people a run for their money. And without us, what would they do, right? We need each other,
We
right?
do. Rob, too. I miss your son, Rob. Good man.
I will say hello to him. I'll have to have him on. If you guys don't come on, be on the podcast with me, you're going to hear from all my friends, all my kids, my bulldogs, my 1.5-year-old grandson, and any surviving teachers, and they'll be few and far between. So you know how that's going to go from high school and maybe even grade school, if there's any still around that fought in World War II and taught me in grade school. So thanks for joining me. Chuck, thank you so much. Sean, thanks for helping me. Don't know what I'd do without you, brother. That I can't even figure out what button on the computer to press. But Chuck, I know you're into this. It probably took you a while to get accustomed to it and make it like second nature. So I'm hoping to learn as I go. But again, I really appreciate you. You guys have a good one, Chuck. If you ever need anything, please let me know and I'll get somebody to help you out. Okay. No, you know I'm there for you, brother. Anytime, any day, any way. You just let me know, all right?
Miss you. Have a good one. Love
I miss you too. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
you.